Hey, it's Dr. Curtis here. Just hanging around clinic, working up patients for various issues. One of the things that always seems to come up is allergy issues. Allergies are super common, and there's so many misconceptions about allergies. I'm just going to share a little bit of how I like to view an allergy problem because sometimes I've seen success treating people with specific nutritional changes that don't seem to have anything to do with what they think they're allergic to. So, for instance, lots of times I see patients that come in, they're allergic to, molds and pollens and environmental allergens. And some people even come and say, oh, I had allergy testing. I'm allergic to everything. I'm allergic to grass and molds and crickets and whatever. Like, how do you get allergic to the world? How does this happen? I'm going to tell you, I think one of the major reasons this happens actually starts in the gut. It actually starts with, I think, food sensitivities. If you imagine the lining of your intestinal tract, there's a thin film of bacteria that live there, and there's this membrane that separates the external world from the internal world. When we eat foods that we are not good for us, like sugar, and processed foods, and things that are chemically laden, this changes the bacterial colonies in the lining of our gut. This alters, if you will, the first membrane or barrier in our immune system. What happens over time is that barrier starts to see things that aren't natural to the body, things that weren't meant to come into the body, and that creates inflammation. So the body actually has to make an immune response to things that we're consuming. When this goes on long enough, the gut can actually become a problem. People start to have things like leaky gut syndrome, people have IBS, irritable bowel. Sometimes these are reasons for that. They're actually having inflammation in the lining of the gut. What I don't think you see is the immune responses that are occurring that upregulate, cause your immune system to be hypervigilant. And when that happens, I believe that's why you start seeing people have environmental allergens to everything. It's just that their immune system's so fed up fighting against this inflammation in the gut that the immune system takes off and responds to pretty much everything. Now, the other part of this is that, and the reason I say this, how was he making this up or what? No, because I've already done this with patients. I've had people that go off to the allergist, they get all their allergy testing, they're allergic to everything under the sun, they take the allergy shots, you take steroids, take anti-inflammatories, take antihistamines, and they still have allergies all the time. So what do you do with these people? They come back to the primary care office, what do we do with them? One of the things I do is, why don't we try some common food sensitivities? Why don't we just eliminate a few things in the diet? First one I do is dairy. Get rid of all dairy products for 3 to 4 weeks. Guess what happens? Half the people with asthma don't have asthma anymore. Half the people with bad allergies are better. Not 100%, but they're better. A good chunk of the patients are sensitive to glutens, grains, even if they had a negative celiac test. Take them off of grains, even if they have a negative celiac test. No wheat, no bread, no pasta, no cereals. Get off of them. Guess what happens? Allergies often get better, whether they're on allergy meds or not. Same thing goes for corn. Same thing goes for soy. I also think that folks that have very high sugar diets, I think that's also that causes immune dysregulation, and I think that's a problem too. So what happens whenever we get off of these types of foods is I think that the good and bad bacterial colonies in the gut realign themselves. I think that the inflammation and the leaky part of the gut that's allowing these environmental allergens to come through the system via the gut heals. And when that happens, we are less responsive to certain things in the environment. So we have less allergy symptoms. I see this every day. There might be a laundry list of reasons why in medical training that was not what I was taught, but I can tell you that in practical experience, hey, get the proper testing, figure out what you're allergic to. But as a potential dietary home remedy, why don't you try eliminating the certain things that we mentioned and see what happens? I've written lots about these. Maybe I'll put some links on the NRG tribe to food sensitivity topics, autoimmunity topics. I kind of get into these quite a bit with patients. This video, I hope, will just kind of alert you and kind of orientate you to the idea of how a food sensitivity can perhaps trigger longer-term environmental allergens, or at least make it worse. Give it a go. If this seems to ring true with you, please leave me a comment. If you have a question about that, leave a comment. And certainly, if you've had a success with this advice, kind of working naturally with this, let us know. Love to hear from you. Take care.